What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? And today I wanted to take a minute and talk to you a little bit about Fortnite Save the World, and specifically, if you're new to the game, kind of give you some maybe advice, tips, pointers, a guide, whatever you want to call this. I'm not going to call it an official guide because it's just not that, but if you've been struggling with the game, if you're just getting started and you're not entirely sure what's going on or what you need to be doing, then maybe this will help kind of get you geared in the right direction and help you understand a little bit better about what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish in this game, because it can be a little bit daunting. It can get a little intimidating. There's a lot of stuff that you can be looking at to try and figure this out. So just wanted to do this. If you are just interested in a straight LP of this game, check out the card up in the upper right hand corner. I will link you to my Let's Play series where I am starting. Oh, I clipped there. Where I am starting brand new from the beginning with a new character and kind of giving you a rundown of things that you can get in the early missions and the main story missions, really. But if you have gotten started and you're trying to figure out a few things, let's just cut right to the chase. There's a lot of stuff that you're going to want to figure out now. Once you're done with those initial opening missions, you're going to be in a pretty good position to kind of start figuring out a strategy. The very first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to figure out your heroes. Let's do it in here. So you're going to be given, Rescue Trooper Ramirez to start the game. But if you buy the Founders Pack, you're going to get a boatload of characters. And if you check out the video, the second video in the series, the LP series, you'll see what kind of characters you can kind of come up with and an idea of how many heroes you're going to end up getting. But as you can see, I've got a lot of different heroes. I've got, what do I got? 1, 2, 3, 4 different, 5 different ninjas. I haven't really looked at this one, but a couple of soldiers, a couple of constructors, and a couple of outlanders. So I've got at least one of every class. I've got one of every class that I could potentially play with. This guy's the weakest of my heroes, primary heroes. I gotta level him a little bit more and use him in some missions. Figure out what kind of hero you want to play as. This is gonna be such a key facet of the game. Do you want to play as a ninja with the double jump and throwing stars, or in this one's case, the Mantis Leap, the Dragon Slash? Do you want to play as a constructor where you'll have the base ability and what does this guy have? Base, he has a decoy and a bull rush. It doesn't hurt to have a couple of different types of heroes, a primary and a secondary, but make your decision. And then once you've unlocked the ability to put in a squad bonus, go ahead and do that. As you can see here, I have Keen Edge, which increases critical damage by 70% on particular items, which is why I'm always using a sword or a scythe, whatever you want to call it. And then I've got this guy who increases movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds. So when I use a melee kill and I need to get away quickly, this helps me do that. And of course, I've got my defenders. So the first thing I would say is pick your hero, go with it, and start leveling them, start working on them. As you see, she is up to the 3-star level, so she's at power level 82. She was originally an epic character, but I've transformed her. I upgraded her rarity. For that, you need this stuff. You need 100 legendary flux, and you can get 5 of these at a time in this weekly item store. But once you've done that, you can upgrade the rarity of your hero. I would do it with an epic one, obviously, because it'll make it legendary. But as you can see, I have 3 legendary ninjas, so it makes a big difference when you figure it out. I've become very comfortable with the ninja. I can play as a constructor, but it's just not as effective for me. The next thing I would probably think about looking at are schematics. You're gonna be a little confused about how you're going to get guns in this game, how you're going to get traps and weapons. And the reality is you need these schematics. You need to be able to craft these weapons. You need to be able to really just to make the things that you need. So I've gathered a bunch of schematics that I really like. Some of these I don't really care for too much, but I've put some levels into them, and I don't want to lose it by putting them into collection book. Like I could put this in the collection book, but that's a story for another time. I would figure out which types of weapons you like early on. Because early on, you're not going to need anything too crazy. You're not going to need anything over the top. You're just going to need something that fires off rounds and hits enemies and does all kinds of fun stuff. I like the Founder's Raptor because it hits pretty hard and fires relatively fast. And as you see, I've got it up to power level 71. Siege Breaker is pretty nice as well. But you're also going to want to have an energy weapon. I've got a couple that I'm working on. And I'm not a big shotgun person, but it probably doesn't hurt to have some kind of shotgun weapon. So I've got a couple of shotgun schematics. This thing is pretty cool, actually. I'm not big on rockets, but I am working on this, and I'm going to start upgrading this. But really what you want to do is you want to pick a couple of schematics that really feel good to you, a couple of weapons that you really just like, and level the hell out of those. And you're going to use schematic XP to do that. And then once you reach a maximum level, you're going to have the chance to evolve it. And this is where you are going to want to be a little careful. As you see with this 1-star item, we're going to be using, you know, planks and rough mineral powder and rotating gizmo and copper ore. When you get up to, let's say, this level 2, now we've gone to, you know, silver ore. Kind of a bad example because I don't have this in a simple form, but the 2-star weapons will require active power cells and simple mechanical parts and silver ore instead of rusty mechanical parts and copper ore. What you're making is going to really be determined. As you see, this is a 3-star weapon, and now I need sturdy mechanical parts, a rotating gizmo, and malachite ore. And this is where you need to really think about what you're doing with schematics. If you upgrade the level, if you evolve them, and you're in an area where the items that they need to be crafted aren't readily available, you're going to back yourself into a corner. You're not going to be able to make the gun. So Stonewood is copper, Plankerton is silver, Canny Valley is malachite. So think about it in that way. You can find silver in Stonewood, but it's rare. You can find malachite in Plankerton, but it's rare. And now you see, I had to spend some time really digging around in the high end of Plankerton to find some malachite ore. I also got some storm chests that gave me some malachite weapons that I wasn't interested in keeping, and that gave me some malachite as well. So I can still craft another one of these. I can make another gun, but it is a limitation you'll run into. So that's why I'm refusing to evolve this even when I have the XP, because I will need malachite. I'll need malachite for all of these 2-star items once they evolve that are weapons. The traps are a little different, but as you see, that's a whole nother story. Speaking of traps, do not neglect those. Those are extremely important when you are trying to do something in this game. You need to have traps, and you need to make sure that they're powerful enough to actually stop the things that you're trying to stop. Additionally, have a good melee weapon available. This thing is pretty awesome. It swings fast, hits hard, knocks things back. This is another fast moving item that can cause a little bit of knockback and is extremely good against elemental enemies. These are both very good against elementals. Then we got a standard sword that is pretty effective, and same thing with this. So, you know, I've got about 4 different options I can roll with depending on the situation. Got a sniper. I have started working on this guy. So I have the schematics that I want to use and the items that I want to work on leveling, and I have definitely been spending a lot of time on that. So once you've done that, you know, you'll have a pretty good supply of guns. Just make sure you're crafting the ammo, because that becomes important. And as you can see here, I have a pretty hefty amount of ammo. I only recently started using, you know, my shotgun shells, so I have over 1,000 of every type of ammo except shotgun. Just to give you an idea, this is my current weapon. These are my current weapons. Well, this was pulled from a storm chest. This was pulled from a storm chest. You can see this is a malachite gun. If I were to, I think if I batch recycled this right now, I'd get 3 pieces of malachite ore, and I may do that because it's a good gun, but I'm not. It uses sniper It uses heavy ammo, which is interesting. Not too fond of this gun. I like this one. I have a high-powered one that was given to me by my friend Silver. And then, of course, I've got my Founder's Raptor that I use when I really need to. I'm trying to reserve it for as much as possible. And so you see the swords that I've got at my disposal. This was another sword that was given to me by Silver. This was from a storm chest. I may be recycling this as well. In fact, I'm going to do that right now because I want that malachite. And then we'll just drop this guy back in. So there, that's an example of what I like to do. So with the existing weapons, I do like to recycle them as I go along. As you see, I don't have a whole lot of traps in my possession right now, but the ones that I do have, I used a bunch of traps. I usually keep about 10 of these on hand too. So I'm gonna have to craft some traps later, but that's not for this video. So once you've gone through your schematics and kind of figured out what you want to use and what you want to level up, you're in pretty good shape to get started. Now, once you have squads available, that's going to be real important. But there's a couple of other things you can do. As you saw me batch recycle with schematics, the other thing you can do is if you know you're not going to use a schematic, you can recycle it or add it to the collection book once you've unlocked it. And you'll unlock it pretty early on. The collection book is just a big collection of schematics, and that as you level up will give you rewards. And as you see, I am up to level 70 and almost to level 71, which I'll get another loot llama. I generally throw in here anything that I haven't leveled up that I might have duplicates of or have no use for. So I could throw this guy in there, but you don't get the schematic XP when you add it to the collection book. That's something to keep in mind. So if you're trying to get schematic XP, you want to recycle, but you're also going to get rewards for the collection book. So it's kind of a, which one do you do? It's a tough decision to make. If you're really that hard off for schematic XP, I would say go ahead and do it. But with these legendary ones, you're not going to get these very often. And that's a tremendous opportunity for the collection book to really earn some serious rewards there. So do what you think you need to do. If you're not, and if you don't have the option to add it to collection book, then just recycle it if you're not going to use it. There's no point in keeping a schematic you're not going to use. You might as well use the schematic XP. You'll get a ton of it for legendary, a pretty good amount for epic, a decent amount for rare schematics, and I think about 400 for uncommon, 200 for common. So you're going to get a lot of schematic XP back. And if it's something that you've been leveling, like say I got another siege breaker and it was better than both of these, I could easily recycle one of these and get a good amount of the XP that I've invested into this back to reinvest into the new siege breaker. So this is a case where I would not add it to the collection book. Now moving on, we're going to talk about squads, because squads are extremely important. Because as you see here, these numbers are significant. I am getting plus 426 on fortitude, plus 390 on offense, plus 393 on resistance, and plus 413 on tech. If I remove these squads, this home-based power number is going to drop dramatically. This is a good portion of your power level. The better your squads are, the more powerful you become, and it adds to your overall power level. So definitely spend some time looking at this. As soon as you have squads unlocked, get them lined up, get them set up. As you see, I've got a couple of legendary guys floating in here. This is a mythic. This is extremely rare, but I have a mythic. I forgot I had that in here. You typically see epic and legendaries, but you see I got another legendary right here, another legendary here, and I don't have any of the uncommon ones. Everything in here is at least a rare or above. See another legendary right here. And these guys are all pretty well leveled. I think everybody that I have is at least at a 2-star level. And that is pretty critical, because that's the big boost that you get. When you evolve a survivor in your survivor squads, it's going to give you a tremendous boost to your power level. This is definitely something that you want to pay attention to. It's definitely something you want to spend a lot of time on. Set it up. Make sure the leader match is there. When you look at it, they're going to have a symbol in the corner. This is the EMT. Leader match doctor. Leader match marksman. Gadgeteer. And as you can see, I've got them all matching. Every single one of my leaders matches. My personalities to this point all match. I have taken great care in making sure all the personalities match. As you can see, some of these have some bonuses in there. We have a health bonus, a range damage bonus, trap durability, melee damage, another trap durability, and another health bonus. Trap damage, another health bonus. So as you can see, 15% health, 5% base damage, 16% trap durability, 5% base damage, and 5% trap damage has been added to all my stats. This is why matching up the bonuses is really helpful. So definitely spend a lot of time on that and take care of it, because it's going to make a big difference in the game for you. Other things to consider, you're going to be looking at a number of things as you're leveling. I've mentioned hero XP, I think. If I haven't, there is hero XP. So up here, you see I have 11,835 right now. This is used for your heroes and for your defenders. So remember that they share this XP. Survivors have their own XP that you're going to want to make sure you work on. And of course, schematics have their own XP. So that's 3 different areas of experience that you're looking at. There's also mission experience. Mission experience goes towards skill points. As you can see, I have 38 skill points right now, and that is because I am maxed out on these tiers. In fact, the only thing I can do is unlock the 3rd level of the skill tree, and I can't do that until I do the final mission in Plankerton. There's also the research tier, which is completely independent of that, in which as time goes by, you're generating research points. Research points are then used to purchase other such upgrades in here. So like right here, increase the party offense. Here, unlock ranged weapon transformation. So this is going to open up a lot of stuff. As you purchase things in the skill tree, your power level will go up. As you purchase things in the research tiers, your power level will go up. So there's a lot of things that you have to pay attention to, and all of these things, the hero levels, the squads, the skills, the research, ties into this number up here, your home base power. As you can see, power level 41. I've made a lot of progress in just over a month, and still working to figure this all out. So if you're new, this can all be really daunting, but getting a handle on upgrading and leveling things up and setting up your squads correctly makes the game so much easier. In particular, again, I can't harp on traps enough. These things will save your butt, especially in storm shield defenses when it's just you and maybe a defender with you. You can load up the pathways even to your base with traps, and the monsters will never even make it to your actual point that you're defending. So if you're doing the storm shield defenses, pay attention to where these things are spawning and set up traps appropriately, because that's going to also help tremendously. The more traps you have, the easier it's going to be for you, the less ammo you're going to have to use, because if anything does make it through the traps, you're just going to need a couple of bullets to bring them down, if that. Make sure you've protected everything at your bases. You know, the shield generator and the amplifiers later on, make sure they're heavily protected. I've seen a couple of different storm shield defenses now where people just didn't seem to give a crap. They didn't put any walls up around their amplifiers, and the mission failed because of that, and it's extremely frustrating. So don't be that person. Aside from that, there's a couple of other things we could talk about when you're in a mission. I mentioned this in the other series. Make sure you are smashing cars and trees and everything to get yourself materials. Make sure you're searching things. Make sure you thoroughly search the area. Yeah, some of these missions have timers based to it, but that's still plenty of time to look around and find things that are important and things that are useful in the mission. You don't need to go running to the Atlas and start the defense right away. You can place the Atlas, in fact, and then just go running off and do what you need to do. With the ride the lightning, you can find the van and then go run off and do what you need to do. It's just real easy to explore and find things, and you're going to make much more progress by doing that than as people are doing down here. You see, anyone want to trade for my guns, and people are getting mad about trades. Don't be the person that tries to trade. You don't need to trade. You do not need to do this. If somebody's got a gun that you want, just be patient. You're either going to get it in the game in a loot llama, or you're going to get it in a mission reward, or it'll be inside of these event items. So I've seen siege breakers in here, I've seen sniper rifles, I've seen a number of different things. Right now, I mean, there's a copper falcon. Over here we've got a copper powered laser rifle. There's items to be had. Copper death ray. You know, these are legendary. These are legendary schematics right here. So you're going to eventually find the things that you're looking for if you're patient. You don't need to trade. So don't trade. And finally, don't be that person who abandons the mission because you don't see what you're looking for. Please don't do that, because that's extremely frustrating when it takes a mission that's supposed to be for 4 people and drops it down to 3, and then maybe even 2 because another person drops out. You don't need to drop out. You're gonna get rewards for finishing the mission, so finish the frickin' mission and get your rewards and get your experience, and then go try and find what you're looking for in another one. I've seen this a lot with the storm chest mission. Who wants to what my base? I don't even know what this person's trying to say, but anyway, be that as it may. There's a lot more to go into. I might do another video talking about squads. There's a lot more to talk about there. If you want something to be discussed, I can discuss it. We can go over it, and we can talk about it more in depth. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I will try to either answer them, or maybe I'll discuss them in a future video. But I think that's going to wrap it up. That's a pretty good starting point, I think, for what you can do to get started in this game to make the experience better. At the end of the day, it turns into a grind fest sometimes. It is a little bit of an XP grind fest after a while, but it's still so fun. I enjoy it. I like it. If you want to link up in missions, you know, we can talk about it, but for the most part, I tend to only play with people that I know, because I'm not interested in some of the nonsense that some of you guys are out there doing, just to be really honest. So that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. As I mentioned earlier, if you've got any questions about this game, things that you're not quite sure of, let me know, and maybe we'll turn it into a video. Until next time, though, thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the actual LP of me playing this from the beginning as I try to see if there's a slightly different experience this time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.